It's another freaking crazy week. You guessed it. We got balloons popping all over the place. They're lying about the balloons popping all over the place. They're acting like it's just for weather or it's just for pleasure, but baby boo, it ain't. Hunter Biden admits that the laptop is his, and Sam Smith worships Satan, and CBS claps along, and Lizzo somehow is the most attractive girl in the world. Stick around. So today, 2 days ago, yesterday, I was walking in Walmart and I had to run in there to get something, prescription or something. Anyway, these dudes were in there, these two black guys. They had like slippers on and they were in the back at this little booth table near the wine. You know, kind of like in Target, they'll be like, "Hey man, who's your carrier, man? You got AT&T? What you looking for?" You know,
like a table kiosk.
Like a table kiosk trying to pitch something, right? So they were like, "Hey man, like, you know, do you care about nature, right? You care about the earth going green?" And I was like, "Nope." and they were like, but he had a good sales pitch. He was like, "Me neither, bro. This is perfect." Right. And so, but it was about nature.org and conservation or whatever. And I was like, well, the real question is, how much do they partner with George Soros and how much of this money goes to not have anything to do? Because they were like, we can get,
oh man, you've jumped right in.
They were like, we can get clean drinking water. This is to get clean drinking water to whatever. I was like, that's what they say it's for. I was like, but the real question is, if you want to figure out what's really happening, is how much money is George Soros given to it? Because that means it's not for clean drinking water, most likely.
Did they know who George Soros was?
Nope. So they were like, what do you do for a living? And then I was like, I'm a social media influencer that talks about corrupt corporations that work with governments to destroy people's lives. And I was like, probably like who you're trying to get me to donate to. And they were like, oh, okay. Yeah, it's a nonprofit. I was like, they usually are. And then I went, it took me 4 minutes. They were like, oh man, they've saw my face or my Instagram. And they're like, wow, man. Okay, cool. Well, follow me back or whatever. And I was like, I don't have anything to follow you for. I was like, but I only follow like 400 people total. But anyway, long story short, I was walking down 3 hours later and I sent the dude a message on Instagram of his thing working with George Soros. And he was like, oh, shoot, I didn't even know, bro. Anyway, it was just funny.
Oh, man. That's so funny.
Yeah. But yeah, I suppose we just jump right into the balloon.
Well, all right. So now the balloon is down, but we have to start from the beginning. But we don't really know what the beginning truly is, do we? Right. No. How many phone calls happened between the U.S. Secretary of Defense and Chinese nationals and their military before they ever decided to tell us about it? And the fact that they're saying that there was some that happened, we're sure that some of them happened under Trump. We just don't know. It's a gap in our observation. Oh, really? So somebody can just... Well, this is their last minute talking point. Lollygag into our country and our fly zones and nobody cares. Right. And it was remember, it was spotted over Montana. Right. So let's just start with it. Right. So Montana, a news station, right? Yes. A random citizen calls and goes, what's going on? And then they go, I don't know what's going on. Right. So February 2nd, we find out. And on February 2nd, the Joint Chiefs of Staff and NORAD and all them say, it's not that big of a deal. We're not going to risk shooting it down. It doesn't justify the risk that it poses. Well, and then and nobody made to a big civilians. Deal. Right. To civilians. We're afraid that if we shoot it down, it's physically going to land on something important or people, which, okay, sure. If that's the reason you won't shoot it down. But remember, this is in Montana. Right. It flew all the way over Alaska, which we know on January 28th, it was over Alaska. You know that they knew even before it crossed over U.S. soil. Our people, they were in the oceans too and flying over the ocean space or whatever, international waters, whatever it is. They don't just like... As soon as the land border begins, they knew about it before. Right. Or at least they were aware. Yeah. How you not going to? Come on. Look at the side. I mean, people. How did some civilians in Montana be like, hey, what's that? And our military intelligence was like, exactly. Like what? Oh, exactly. That? Oh, I'm sure it's nothing. Whatever happens, we're not going to shoot it down because that would risk your safety. Right. If it was a safe way to do this, we would. Oh, well, it just went over oceans before it hit Alaska and it went over some pretty ass
pretty big ass lakes during Alaska. So can you explain what you mean? You know, and like
and vast open land.
Right. And then I wonder if a Canadian person reached out to an American person and was like, hey, we see this big ass balloon. Did y'all see this? And then they were like, yeah, we saw it. Just leave it alone. I've got a deal under the table with someone. I don't want to assume too much. Okay. But so then February 3rd, China is like, oh, it's just a weather balloon. And it's like, okay. The thing was hovering in certain spots though.
Was it?
Yep. That's what the guy said on Tim Pool. He came on Tim Pool. He said it would hover over some military installment areas.
Jesus
or whatever.
Christ, you're kidding. I didn't
That's
know
what
that
he
part.
said. I don't know if he's telling the truth, but that's what he said.
He is, because I read a thing about how they were talking about the maneuverability and the capabilities of it. They were saying
right,
that
they have
did.
exhaust systems and it can go left and right kind of or whatever. Well, so anyway, they're saying, and they said, this is not a big deal. It's a weather balloon. Everybody relax. And then we're like, regular Americans are looking at this and going, yeah, but that's some weird shit. And I don't think we ought to be letting balloons from other countries fly over our country. And then everybody's like, yeah, that actually makes sense.
Like,
duh.
This is my.
But they said at first, we're not going to mess with this thing because it doesn't pose a big risk. And then they end up grounding the flights on February 4th. And then we shoot the damn thing down. So something happened, and they act like it's because of how long the thing was hovering over the United States as to why that it's a risk or whatever. But either way, they said that, you know, and everybody looks at this and goes, why did Biden let this happen? And then Biden's team lies or at least says, oh, this isn't the first time it's happened. It's happened a lot under Trump. It happened at least three times under Trump. And Trump goes, the hell it did. I didn't know this happened. Let me just finish the summary. Then Trump goes, the hell.
You're going through the whole thing.
I might as well. And then we'll break it all down.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
And then Trump goes, well, why the hell? I didn't know about this. Why didn't I know about this? And then they go, well, we felt like it might provoke you to do something, you know, like shoot it down like we did. You know, so like the thing that every American looks up, like, dude, I can't tell you how many of my friends were like, bring that bitch over here. I'll shoot it right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, like we don't care if we had jets. I just shot the thing myself. You know what I mean? Like, because I just don't want other people's, I don't want some air from China. If I can be honest, like what kind of air did y'all pump that thing full of? You know what I mean? Like, how's this working? Like what's in your little canister? You got a canister or something up there? I've seen some movies. You could drop a little piece of a virus down on somebody. And didn't we just go through a little something where a little something leaked out somewhere?
I mean,
you know?
No, I agree. Like when it first was happening, this was my take on it when they were saying that, oh, we're not going to shoot it down because of safety. My concern was there was no like constant supervision around it. And like, we have the technology to do that, to have a bunch of jet planes around it with like jammers and things like that to make sure that it's not sending signals. We were talking about EMF earlier today. EMP, excuse me. Right. Thank you. And why wouldn't you have something escorting that thing 24/7, jamming it with as much stuff?
We think it's just a weather balloon. Okay, what if it's not? I'm not even allowed to fly a drone. Like as a citizen of America, I can't even fly a drone over like lots of places.
Not that high.
Not even low over some places. I can't even fly a drone. And it's like, and then when you look at where EMPs do the most damage, about 150,000 feet is where they can do the most amount of damage. There's a book called 1 Second After that I read a long time ago. And it's based in Asheville, North Carolina, is this fictional novel, but a lot of the military uses it to teach people what happens. If you had 1 year of no electricity because of EMPs in the United States, 1/10 of the United States would still be alive. Yes. So 36 million people, essentially 38 million people would be all that's left of the 380 million people after the course of 1 year if we had EMPs. And this isn't the only balloon that they're talking about, right? They've said that they've seen multiple.
Oh, sorry. No, well, I mean, sorry, just like, I don't know. Just to me, just going back to first spotting it, because we're seeing information that, oh no, they knew about it in January.
January 28th, they knew that it was in Alaska.
A state had to tell us about it because everybody was putting up, be like, hey guys, what is that thing? Oh, I don't call your neighbor and then the local news, and then it just snowballed from there. But had we not have a bunch of like independent people and make it like, hey, what is this thing, to where the U.S. government finally had to address it because there was very much concern. They were just going to leave us in the dark.
They were just going to leave us in the dark if we didn't say something, right? Until we got frustrated.
Right. And then even then, the lack of anything done. Okay, you don't want to shoot it down. If I'm going to buy that, which I don't buy it.
Because they're like, we don't want to shoot it down because of risk to civilians. It's like, well, it went over a lot of different water before this, so that doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't.
So don't act like that's the freaking thing.
No.
And then I don't think they would have said anything if we wouldn't have been outraged about it in the first part, because they ended up shooting it down, which means
because we had to.
Well, so let's just think about this for just a second. So it's doing this. it's doing this and going, I'm getting info and I'm sending it out. Okay, that's what the thing's doing. All right. Now, a little of that's not good. The more and more that it does, the more and more you should shoot this thing down. Right. And so it's like, but we all just agreed that a little bit's not good, right? So shoot the thing down the first. This thing is 200 feet tall.
Is it?
Yes, it's not a little itty bitty buddy.
I didn't know how big it was.
Yeah, it's huge.
Oh man!
Right, so I don't know what it is, and I don't think we'll know what it is until 4 years from now. Then they'll go, actually, that was a nuke, or something. Like they're going to tell us the truth later on, or whatever. But so what I'm saying is, we agreed that the reason they're saying it's bad is because the duration of time that it was flying over the United States, which means that
why they made the decision.
Right. It's like, it's toxic to you, but only through a little bit of exposure. No. I don't want them to know anything about what's going on. Right. Now, I know Google Earth is a thing. I get that. Google Earth isn't real-time information either. And Google Earth is subject to the government that be in order to not show certain parts. That's why you can't zoom in to you can't zoom into military bases on Google Earth the same way you can zoom into your own freaking house, which, by the way, that's backwards. The government should know nothing about you and you should know everything about them.
That's a good point.
But anyway, maybe not military stuff, but you get the basic premise.
I see what you're saying.
But so anyway, so we agree this thing is doing something that's not good. And the longer it did it, the more of like, all right, maybe we should shoot it down. So we were right to begin with that we should have shut it down.
Then again, like I was saying, nobody then have F-18s or whatever they're called zooming around and jamming it.
Not even all that. Send 4 drones. What is it? $89 a minute or something for that? Sure. You already blow a $10 million on Pakistani gender studies. Throw some drones up there and screw the thing up.
That's a good point. Yeah, exactly. We wouldn't even have to man it.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I mean, you sent $100 billion to Ukraine so far, and we don't know, God knows where that went. So who cares?
Yeah. And
so hang on. Let me say this real quick. So then they say that the same thing happened during Trump. They start yelling that. They're going, they happened during Trump. That's what I got here. Right. This happened during Trump. So hang on, let me finish. So this thing happened during Trump too. They had 3 of them. And then Trump goes, no, you didn't. I didn't hear anything about this. Right. And then they go, well, we didn't tell Trump because it might have provoked a response. What kind of a response could have it provoked? Oh, he probably would have shot it down. Oh, like you guys just did the thing that he would have done before you did it, like which would have made all of us happier. Yeah. Oh, okay, awesome. So you're saying he would have been a commander and a chief in this scenario. Perfect. I'm glad you answered this for us. You know,
and I was gonna tell them the timeline. That it was Saturday. Saturday they had said, oh, well, listen, guys, I don't know why you guys are like all like worked up about this balloon. We shut it down. Everything's fine. And listen, a couple of them came over with Trump, and then they had to do the backtracking, the weird thing where Trump's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. Then his DOD and Pentagon officials or whoever was there at the time in charge of it saying, and that I guess maybe they're trying to suggest that they didn't tell Trump. And that, we knew about it.
Millie and all them are like, well, yeah, we didn't tell him.
Right. And then somebody said, well, then maybe you should investigate why they didn't tell the president of the United States that 3 of those mother effers were over the gosh darn country. And then they're saying,
if they were
on Sunday, they tried to do the backtracking again and fixing this story.
Right. The backtracking was we're not really sure. We're just pretty sure that they probably sent multiple over and we just didn't catch it.
We got the information after.
Yeah, we got the information that they probably sent balloons over afterwards, and which means that it was what was the word that they used? It was a intrusion.
No, gap.
Yes, it was a gap in their a gap in their awareness or something like that, which just doesn't make any sense, man. It just happened. We couldn't figure it out. And it's like, all right, dude, I don't buy anything from these jokers anymore.
Well, the thing is that, okay, so you're of the mindset of that there were, or are you, I should ask you, are you of the mindset of that this is true, that there were three under balloons? Trump? What do you think? So tell me what you think of that.
No, I doubt it. There's no way that it flew over the United States like this one did.
3 of them.
And look, they didn't catch this in South Carolina. They caught this in Montana. They didn't say, I don't remember Alaskan citizens saying anything. Well, maybe they did. Right. But I know we knew about it January 28th, but I don't know if that was because of a citizen saying something.
No, our government didn't. They finally afterwards said that. Oh, by the way, we knew.
Well, so Alaska's super not populated and neither is Montana. Right. So either way, it gets to the Montana's all the way at the north. Right. So it had to come through Alaska, which means then it went through Canada and then it hit Montana. And in the first state that is somewhat populated, we saw it in the first state, not the second state, not the third state, but the first state that it flew over.
Do we know the trajectory?
Yeah, it went over the Great Lakes.
Okay.
Too, I believe.
Another place they could have shot it down.
Another place. Well, so anyway, so I don't believe off the top of my head that 3 of them would have did it and we never would have known about it because that just doesn't make any sense.
Right.
Unless there was, maybe they lied and said it was something else or something and we just don't remember it, but that doesn't make sense. So I don't buy that. I don't think there was 3. I think they're saying there was a gap. And somebody posted that on Twitter today. They were like, nobody had a picture, a photograph, or a video or a tweet about this. And somehow this happened while Trump was president 3 times. No.
They would have loved to have a reason to nail him.
They would have been like, oh, Trump's not even protecting our own airspace. Look at this idiot, or whatever. They would have definitely done anything they could to make him look dumb. Well, I guess I don't really believe it.
So then this is what we're looking at then.
That's my answer.
And this is what we're looking at though. Okay, so let's say we have 2 possibilities here then. Not true.
It just seemed appropriate. Okay, go ahead.
We have 2 possibilities here. It's not true. And I wouldn't put it past this administration, especially the way they keep backtracking it. Oh, well, yeah, it's not a big deal because there was 3 with Trump.
Yeah, put it in that closet that nobody can figure out the very minutia details of. Yeah, it was a gap in our intelligence, so just leave it in that closet that nobody can open because you can't open it.
I don't think it's no. This is if it's completely fake and fabricated, which I'm leaning more on the side of that. So let's just say completely fake and fabricated. Why did they wait till after it was shot down and everything was happy and everything to tell this story about Trump and the 3 balloons? You think people were already outraged the first day that it was reported. They would have jumped all over to say that, listen, Trump had 3 of these if that information was actually true. That's why I don't think it is, because they would have immediately loved to have, but I think they were scrambling.
On day one where somebody was like, why is Biden letting this happen? The press secretary had to be like, can somebody please find an example of another president having this problem? Yeah. It would have been day one.
Exactly.
Day one. And then she would have got up on podium and been like, we have been clear.
Exactly.
Peter, we have been clear about this.
Peter.
And we're going to continue being clear. Okay, and I'm going to refer you to the DOJ because this is actually their investigation now. Speaking of which.
Well, hang on. Wait.
Yeah.
Before the two.
Go ahead.
The 2 things that I think it's a lie because that they just came up with it and now they have to keep backtracking as to why, because it's like, wait, what? When people said, wait, 3 balloons came over? Well, then Trump, why did you not tell us? And Trump's like, what are you talking about? There was no 3 balloons. Trump's Pentagon, why were there 3 balloons? There was no 3 balloons. And they're scrambling the next day. Oh, but listen, guys, yes, the balloons were there, but we have the intelligence and it came afterward. The balloons were here and gone way before.
And then we found out way later. And then Jack Pozo said, well, that's a breach of something, so we can file charges on this. And then they're like, all right, well, maybe we don't know yet.
They're probably conjuring up the paperwork right now and backdating it and everything as we speak.
Right, as we speak.
But it's still a problem because you didn't notify the president of the United States at that time. Secondly, that goes right into my second, if this second thing was true, which is, if it did happen, Ross, 3 balloons without the intelligence and the Trump, without the president at the time, Trump's knowledge of 3 Chinese balloons going over U.S. soil, 3, not 1, not 2, 3, went and nothing was done. That's a problem then, and you knew about it. Well, then we need to dig back, and why didn't you report that to Trump? You know what I mean? So both of these scenarios are just really, really bad for the administration and our government as a whole, and the way that the corruption and everything that the people have been pointing out all this time. And this is digging their own hole further with this lie. Or if it's true, then there were still lies of omission involved with the Trump presidency. So I think we have a big problem that they definitely showed their hand in front of behind the curtain, as they say with the wizard. Right. That the American people saw. That's what I'm saying. It's like, this is a big deal either way. Either they're lies, or if it is true, what the hell happened while Trump was president? And you put the American people at risk like that?
Right.
I don't know. I had to go off on that tangent because I think this is they're treating it so casually.
Well, yeah, it is the most brutal government in the world currently. And they are attempting to control, the people that sent the balloon over here have 3 million Uyghur Muslims in concentration camps, and they're harvesting their organs right now. Yep. Right now. And so that's not speculation. And they're sterilizing the women, by the way. Mm-hmm. Right. So that's the government that we're talking about.
Right.
The people that are happy, when they had this big train crash that happened in China, and instead of bringing in all their medical people and their evac people to help get all the people out of it and present casualties, in order to avoid embarrassment, they brought all of their cranes and their bulldozer in, and they shoved dirt over top of all of it so the satellite images couldn't pick it up that there was a crash. They just let them die in there. That was years ago. But that's the government that we're talking about, sending nice little balloons to us. That's why it's so shameful that General Mad Dog Mattis turned out to be a total bought and paid for simp, because he was always talking about military preparedness. We need to be military preparedness. And it's good. That's what it should be.
We were so fooled by him, weren't we?
Yeah, 100%. But so look, I want to show you guys this. It says on here, look, if I type in Jack Posobiec, look what it says. It looks like the results are changing quickly on that one. Come back later once we decide what you should know about it.
Wow.
Speaking of which, let me show you something else that doesn't come up right away when you go typing it in. Wait, okay? You remember the whole Hunter Biden laptop story? That everybody was, what was it, 50-something Department of Intelligence people said that it was certainly Russian disinformation. And then we were like, no, it's not. And that story got completely banned. Literally, it got New York Post banned on Twitter. One of the oldest magazines in the United States, one of the oldest newspapers, Respected. And anybody that shared it, because the FBI was literally telling Twitter, hey, go after this person, go after this person, go after this person. The Biden team was doing that.
Well, and they were definitely saying when it came to the Hunter Biden story that it was fake, it wasn't real, blah, blah, blah. Even after some people started saying it was real-ish.
Yeah, so they messed with that.
It was his.
Right, so there was the stuff that's on there, all of the sexual videos and him smoking crack and doing stuff with Obama's daughter's credit card, even though she was underage. There was cocaine next to it, who knows? Anyway, there's a bunch of stuff on this laptop that was apparently nobody could figure out if it was his. It looked like Russian disinformation. Mm-hmm. And then because what happened was he took it to a repair shop, forgot to pick it up, and he signed something that says it counts as collateral if you don't pick it up in 3 months, and he never paid for 3 months. So they just took it and then he shared it to everybody. Anyway, that thing that all of the Department of Intelligence seemed to think was Russian disinformation. If we type in what Hunter Biden wants to do now, because he wants to press charges, I want you guys to see what Google does.
And this is in recent news. This has been happening this month.
Hunter Biden wants to press charges. Well, what's he want to press charges for? Oh, well, Google's not showing me that.
The latest
It's showing me stuff from October of last year and November of last year. This has nothing to do with what I was looking at until I go over here and click tools. And then I click, instead of any time, so it gives me dumb crap, I go past week. And then it goes, oh, you mean when Hunter Biden wants the Department of Justice to investigate the repairman for what? Who accessed his personal information. Oh, so he admits that it was his information now. Well, Google tried to hide it.
Do you think he's in panic mode?
Yeah. Oh, 100%. But I think it's beyond panic mode. I think it's panic mode was when everybody knew what was in the laptop for the past however long.
You think so? See, I don't. I think that he thought that maybe that could keep going. I think all the walls are crumbling in, but I think he knew that daddy could protect him. But I think because so many things are falling apart.
The big Biden sent him $10 million recently for something. Yeah.
I believe it.
For something, I think it was for legal fees or something like that are about to come up.
Right. But I think he's really panicking because you just brought up something very relevant. The fact that he probably was high and doing whatever it is with our tax dollars that daddy gave him, left the laptop there. When you sign those things, you're basically saying, hey, if I'm an a-hole and I don't pick this up.
Or pay you,
right? That piece and whatever's in it, I'm sure those repair shops usually have ironclad contracts.
Sure.
And they say that whatever it is now mine. The fact that he's
right,
panicking.
you forfeit the property.
There you go.
If you don't pay us in a certain amount of time.
Exactly. And that's what I'm thinking, that he's in panic mode because this isn't going to hold up in court. Even I'm sure there's going to be amazing lawyers with this repairman that the conservative side is going to offer, which is
it's
great.
A breach of national security.
Right.
This is a breach of national security or some dumb crap. Right. This poor little repairman's like, yeah, sorry, I saw the sitting son of the recent vice president making business deals to generate money for the big guy, his father, and I have all the emails for it. And remember, they even said the emails were a fake. Tony Bobulinski, one of the recipients of the emails, came out, gave an affidavit, said, no, they weren't fake. I was doing business to help Joe Biden make money in China and these other places, 100%. And he signed affidavits and everything, and they were like, it's all bullshit. Interviews. None of it's true.
He did interviews.
And I made videos about this.
Right when everybody just ignored all these interviews and, like you said, a signed affidavit, like legal binding paperwork, and it just went. Everybody just, no, but it's still not real. And now, like you said, he's saying.
And now we have Chinese balloons floating overhead, and we're like, I wonder why this is happening. And it's like, well, it's because China helped pay your family X amount of money to do whatever they want to do. You know, these people are all on the same team. The left, the celebrities, the weird satanic shit, all of it's one big fat cookie that nobody wants to take a bite of unless you're already in there and they've already got dirt on you. But what's interesting, though, about the Grammys is that they essentially worshiped Satan in front of everybody. I don't have a better way to say this. CBS even said this. CBS said,
yeah, what
we're ready to
CBS
worship.
Said?
Okay, let me find this for you. So here it is. Okay. Sam Smith saying this is going to be special with a tongue out. Okay. He says it's going to be special. Right. And remember, this is what it looked like, him with devil horns a little bit later. But right after he said that, look, this is the picture of it.
This is rehearsal.
This is going to be special. Look at CBS's response. You can say that again. We are ready to worship.
So
that's weird, dude. You can't call it normal. It's getting weird. Okay. And the images and everything from it, I wish they showed them on this, but like, I mean,
I'll get some while you talk.
I mean, he had devil horns, the whole 9 yards. The song is called Unholy, for the love of God. All right. Literally, for the love of God. The song is called Unholy. Okay. You know, all these same people have basically been telling everybody to be atheists for the longest time, but yet all the people that helped us arrive at the God's not even real conclusion, all these kids that are under 30 that are like, yeah, the God's not even real. Like, this is all stupid. You know, atheism and blah, 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 or
they think
whatever.
They're so edgy.
They think they're so edgy, but all the people that helped them arrive at that conclusion are all specifically only worshiping the Christian bad guy, Satan. Like, it's specific to just him, you know, not the Buddhist bad guy, not the Islam bad guy, not the whatever. It's specifically the guy who's supposed to be an enemy of Jesus, who's not supposed to exist, from these people's mouths. Right. But yet they push it. And it's not because it's a cool publicity stunt. It's played out. Megan Fox, Machine Gun Kelly, Cardi B, freaking Ozzy Osbourne, you name it. Everybody has done the Satan thing where they act like they're in Satan stuff. So it's not like it's cool. It's some other reason. I suspect the reason is because they're actually worshiping Satan, obviously. But go ahead. What did you have to say?
No, I mean, just kind of on the same lines. Like, no, you do make a good point that they are. I never thought about it like that, that they are only worshiping the bad guy that is the Christian bad guy. Why aren't you worshiping the bad guy that's to the Muslims or, like you said, to Buddhists or anything? So it is interesting.
Why don't you bring one of the bad guys from those religions out here and worship him? How come you're only worshiping the one that seems to cause the most amount of damage?
Well, what I think is funny about that too is that, are you acknowledging that the other guy might be real too? Huh? You know what I mean? Like,
well, the song's called Unholy.
Oh, I don't even know the song. Like,
yeah, so the song is called Unholy, indicating that there's a such thing as holy.
Exactly.
So yeah. Anyway, I made a big TikTok about it this week that went pretty viral.
Did you see the response that I showed you?
Yes, and I responded to her too for you.
Did you?
I did it for you.
All right,
I was like, I'll help her. I'll help her see something.
You guys go check it out too. I just think that it's so much effort. I think you put it in a good way. Like, you're not cool. Come on, kids. They do, but that's what they think. It's almost like rebellious kids trying to make their parents mad. They think that this makes us so mad. They think this makes Christians so upset. Like the atheists that had responded to you, and that they don't believe, and it makes us so upset.
Yeah, the conservative base of America is going to get really riled up, and then that's a lot of people's answers. They say they're going to share it more because it's going to rile them up. Well, how'd that work out for Disney and Netflix so far by shoving stuff down conservative people's throat? Would you guys lose half your stock now? You doing good? Awesome. Well, because they got so many bailouts from COVID cash, they probably don't care.
Right.
You paid them anyway.
Well, and not just that for the sake of that, even the regular people, you think it bothers us so much. We don't, if you don't want to, we don't care what you do. We don't care.
I don't care what you do.
Leave us out of it. Leave our children out of it, and leave all these politics out of it.
Yeah, and don't chop off kids' genitals.
That's what
How
I
about
mean.
that?
Yeah, leave the kids out of it.
Because everybody thinks that the reason we're against that is because we don't want trans people to be a thing. Be a thing.
We don't care.
We don't give a shit. Do whatever you want, but just don't pretend that there's not lifelong consequences from it.
Exactly.
And don't pretend that you've done the study on this and everybody's happier 50 years later, because you don't know of a society that's en masse allowed their children to pick their own gender and then used binoculars and looked at that civilization 50 years later and said, this is what happened to that group of people. You don't know. We're saying that seems stupid, and don't try to tell our kids it's the better way, which is...
That's what's happening.
That's what's happening in your schools. And it's bonkers to me. The public schools they are the enemy of parents now.
Libraries.
I can't stand all these parents that act like they care about conservative shit. Like, no offense, but like, if you're a parent out there and your kid's going to public school, find a way. I'm so sorry to tell you this. It is not safe anymore. It's not. And don't tell me your kid's going to school as a missionary to go help these other kids. No. You don't tell a kid who's in high school to go play in the NFL tomorrow because he's going to get creamed, right? That's what's going to happen if you send your kid to a regular public school and go, he's got the right understanding in his head. The hell he does. No. The hell she does.
And he's around those people for 8 hours a day.
You only get one. You know you only get one. My wife is a stay-at-home mom, and maybe after she's done homeschooling them, which is like an hour and a half a day sometimes or whatever, after she's done homeschooling them, maybe we have like a full hour of just one-on-one. Tell me how you're doing. Right. Okay, let me cipher through. You don't know what stuff is sliding into your kids' indoctrination. What
do we do when kids go to school? Listen to your teacher.
Right.
Don't complain if I hear, you know what I mean?
And these teachers are not neutral.
No.
These teachers, when you see them on Libs of TikTok, they've got every freaking flag in the world except an American flag. And it's just... Anyway, yeah, it's this is not neutral. If you're a parent out there and your kid's going to public school, pull them out. If you haven't realized why yet, do a little bit of research and figure out what books are in their school, what books were in their school 2 years ago, what teachers are probably saying stuff to them that you would never want said to your kids. And if you haven't realized yet why you don't want it said to your kids, then you need to do the research, because your kids are going to be shipwrecked in about 3 more years of this nonsense, and you're not ready for it.
I have a thing to tell you, dealing with what you're saying. Like, hey, if your kids are still in like public schools, like, let me tell you something. There was a YouTube comment under a video, and it was talking about the indoctrination in school and all this woke stuff in school, blah, blah, blah. And it was conservative. And this person was obviously of conservative leaning and upset that this happened to her daughter. Says that her daughter got punished for making some joke or something like that, and had to take, got detention and had to take a racial sensitivity. It wasn't even a joke. It was something very innocent. Can't remember what it is. Had to take a racial sensitivity course and everything like that and get reprimanded, and just talked about how unfair and blah, blah, blah. 1K likes and everything like that. And my question was, you made her take the racial sensitivity course too? Then I'm not understanding, just talking about how awful, and yeah, this is awful, and I'm so mad at this. You're not mad enough, because you made her take a racial sensitivity course over something that did not merit that. You said it yourself in the comment, and you made her take it. Then what kind of message are you sending? You're saying that.
The parent said that the parent put her through the class.
No, the school did. The parent allowed it. That's what I'm trying to say.
No
public
way.
School.
No way.
You
dude.
see what I mean? It's like you're
because it sounds smart too. If you listen to these people talk for long enough,
right?
You almost feel like, okay, actually, what you're saying makes sense. I guess it is a white supremacist like overlying theme that's actually a systemic issue, and da 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 da.
When they make it, that
and they
thing.
make it, and they really sell it to you in a good way. But as soon as you dig 3 feet past the surface of the original argument, it all falls apart. Every society in history has had slavery, basically. Fast forward to what's the primary indicators of whether somebody's going to be able to have income mobility. It has a lot more to do with whether they had both parents, not their race. It has a lot more to do if both parents waited to have kids until they were graduated from high school and had jobs. And so there's just so much to it but if you recognize that there's a disparity, I'm reading this book right now. Check it out, guys. Discrimination and Disparities from Thomas Sowell. I love this guy. But anyway, you're reading this book and you're just learning how everything really works. And it's like, they have sold you. They're pissing on you and calling it rain. And people that are too stupid to go learn about it all and too busy, like everybody, is just like, I guess you're right. White people are just really giving it to you guys hard. And then you have these dumb, unknowledgeable white liberals or leftists at this point that are saying, that's actually true. You should, maybe I should give you my house. Maybe I should. You've earned it.
Remember when 2020, the Floyd thing happened, and there were white people. I thought this was a joke. It is not a joke. It wasn't. I totally thought it was. White people were kissing the shoes. There were black people standing on like a podium thing or whatever, a stage thing, and they were saying, hey, will you come kiss my shoe for like racial equality and blah, 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 and to denounce your white supremacy. People were in suits and ties, not like, soccer moms, like in Target or in nice areas, obviously educated, working people were bending over and kissing these people's shoes over to denounce their white. That's what, down to the floor too. I'm not saying that they were up at eye level. This stage was only maybe a foot high. So they had to go down.
Right. And kiss the shoes of another person. And it's like
dirty boots.
And that's not the only thing either. During the riots, the George Floyd riots, they would say when they were marching against the police with the riot shields and they were trying to burn buildings down and stuff, they would say whites to the front. Whites to the front. So you guys get the spray in the face first and stuff like that. And they were doing it. Yeah. Stupid white people were like, you're right. I should be a martyr for the cause. And what's the cause? So that Patrice Cullors can go buy 2 more mansions, you dumbasses.
Yeah.
Oh, the justice. Well, but look, at the end of the day, you've got, that was only one of, the scenarios these people are basically whipping themselves because they feel so guilty about things. And it's like, man, they just don't know. They don't know. They're just unknowledgeable, which is why I'm digging so deep so that I can just go to the college campuses and start having these conversations with kids to help them kind of break out of these stupid ideas, and it's like, there's a religious zeal that comes along with when you feel like you've spotted something that's truly unjust and you're trying to fix it. There's a religious zeal that comes along with that. And all of these people have that religious zeal, Right. You can see them have that weird religious cult zeal.
It's like a crazy look in their
It's a crazy look in the eye, and it's a crazy behavior, and it's I'm closing my ears and gnashing my teeth when you're trying to tell me. They're unhinged, right? Most of them are on antidepressants. A lot of them are overweight. A lot of them don't have a father. Look at these people that are outraged all the time. All of them come from broken homes. And if they don't come from broken homes, they come from dysfunctional homes. Right. You know what I'm saying? But either way, it doesn't matter. What I'm saying, or they're Hunter Bidens, where they've been given everything their whole life, and it's still dysfunctional either way. You know, but so anyway, fast forward, when you do the actual numbers on things, you know, if you're like, man, this is such a big problem, you know, because basically their answer was defund the police. That they wanted the entire system of law enforcement in the United States to grind to a halt. For what? If you asked them, hey, how many people do you think unarmed black people were killed by police in 2019? They would be like 10,000 probably, or 100,000 maybe more, or at least 5,000.
They thought
the answer was like 14 to 19. You know, like I know we talked about this last week, but still. I want to talk about it again.
No, it's true.
Like that's the answer.
Like out of 300 and what did you say?
382 million people.
Exactly.
Right now, 14% of the population is black. 7% is black men. Right. So you got 7% of the population. Just so everybody knows, I'm not saying this is because of race, but statistically, 13.5% of the people in the United States make up 50% of the homicide. Black people make up 50% of the homicide. I'm not saying that's
perpetrators.
Right. They're the perpetrators of well, yes, it is. Whites mostly kill whites. Blacks mostly kill blacks. Asians mostly kill Asians. I guess it's a thing. I don't know. But either way, everybody just kills their own camp. I don't know how it works. But like, this isn't a black and white thing. It's just not. And like, for you to demand that law and order come to cease, like that's not even what black folks wanted. They did a poll on this whole thing, and they were like, who wants less policing in your neighborhoods? And only 20% of all black people that polled on this was a Democrat poll. Like they had a poll on like a really liberal website, and only 20% said they wanted less police. 80% wanted the same amount of police or more. I remember reading that and being like, dang. And so all of the defund the police stuff is not what they wanted. The defund the police stuff was what the powers that be wanted to destabilize the country.
They put the laws in order. They changed the budgets. They either let go of people or just didn't hire more or cut things down.
They started doing different hiring practices for the police officers, like in Memphis, and then 5 police officers that were hired through the diversity training curb stomped a fella to death, essentially.
Is that not the craziest turn of events? Can you like think about that? That was their grand plan.
Yeah, diversity hire.
That was their perfect plan, etched out and executed. We made this diversity program. We're not going to we're not going to put
you through this rigorous training that is white man made.
It's so white supremacy to have all these rules and all this training.
Right, being on time.
What is that? Like it's too white supremacy.
Oh God, what email was that?
It was their. I remember that.
Yes,
but it was their perfect plan. It was diversity hires. They were, some of them I think had served time. I don't know for sure. We'd have to look it up. I think some of them had gotten in trouble themselves too. But like circumventing hiring process as far as training goes and selection, and then they on the street, they're doing the job, and that happens. I mean, and then
they lowered the bar, and those people killed an unarmed black guy, essentially.
It's the
I don't know what to say. And then they called it white supremacy.
Oh,
they were like, they're enforcing white supremacy. And all of us white folks are on the side, and we're just like, we're eating like cereal and like dying early. We're like, me? What did I do?
Exactly.
You know, like, and it's just like, was it me? No, it was your ancestors. The poor potato farmers? Which one? You know, like, can you name them? And it's like,
was it the Irish slaves in the ghettos of New York? Which one? Which ancestors are you talking about?
Yeah. So do they think everybody's bad? Like the Italians and everybody that's like considered like a lighter complexion?
It just depends on your politics, from what I've noticed.
Right. Because Candace Owens is a white supremacist.
Exactly.
I forgot.
Right. So it just depends
Larry Elder, Ben Carson, all of them just total white supremacists. Yeah, I think that's when you just stop listening to stupid things. So that's my temptation. I always want to help people see the light, but at the same time, I get so frustrated trying to explain things to them that I end up being like, I don't want like this conversation is dumb. Like it really feels like I'm talking to a 15-year-old who's brainwashed.
You said it yourself. The zealotry that they go la 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 like that and have that look and that craziness, and it's almost like a brick wall that you can't even get through. It's like, hey, I'm just trying to have a sensible conversation, and even then, it's like anything coming out of your mouth, like, oh no, I was just asking if you wanted a glass of water. Even that is offensive. They are at that point. How are you going to talk to them about politics if you couldn't even offer them a glass of water because your hands touched it? You know what I mean?
Did you think I needed water? Why did you assume that you could offer me something? Or there would be some way to spin that as racist.
Oh yeah. I was like,
anything, everything can be racist, dude. And honestly, unless you're talking about white people, then nothing's racist because they're the people that are in power. Regardless of the fact that Asians make way more money than us in the United States.
No hate crimes against them. Even if there is a black dude unaliving a white person while yelling white slurs and everything like that. That's still,
it might not be a hate crime.
If it's a hate crime, which actually did happen in California. You know that, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure it happens once a month.
A guy driving, black guy was driving. He was supposedly an accountant, they said. ER doctor was on his bike and the guy rammed into him. The guy flies off of the bike. Guy gets out of his car, runs over to the white guy and starts stabbing him and yelling racial slurs and white privilege stuff as reported by witnesses on the scene. And
he was like, dude, you have a car. I only had a bike. How am I privileged? You think I did all this bad shit to you and then moved right next door?
Oh, like Theo Von. Yeah. You think I have all your stuff and just don't got it?
Yeah, you think I took all your stuff and just don't have it?
Like, now, come on, you want to split these plums? Yeah,
you want to split these plums, man? That's all I got.
I have 2 tank tops in the winter.
Dude, Theo Von's funny, man. He's a funny guy. He's a funny kid. He always reminds me of a kid because he's so funny in the way he talks about things.
Yeah.
It's unique.
I like it though. No, I like it.
It's unique. It's fun.
I'm like,
Some stuff he says, I'm like, but that's pretty depraved and brutal that you went through something or contributed to something like that, you know, where he'd be like, dude, I don't know, man. I'd be like, bang these 10 girls at a time. And I just was like, I ain't going to be here when the cops show up. So I jumped out the window and I threw her out the window too. And you're just always like, bro, this is pretty bad. Like, you shouldn't say this on air, you know? Like,
oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he said, I was about to say a crazy story, but I was like, no, that's too much. Like a Theo Von one that I heard, and I was like, oh, it was crazy.
Dude, Joey Diaz. Every time Joey Diaz talks on Joe Rogan.
No, you're fucking Joe
Rogan. Listen, Joe Rogan.
Listen, I only wear white on Sundays because it's a Sunday, you know. I just took a CBD gummy right before we came.
I took 5,000 milligrams of fucking THC to the dome, my brother. So there I was. If you don't want to be with it, then you can fucking leave. You know, he's always so intense about it.
He is funny.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, forgot about Lizzo. We got to mention Lizzo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I have some pictures.
So Lizzo was rated apparently. Yeah, pull this up.
Oh, you want me to pull that up?
Yeah, please. Please. You guys got to see this nonsense. Right. Okay. So in case you guys are wondering, Lizzo is fashion queen of 2023. What the special winner wore. Oh, she's a special winner, not just a winner. She was a special winner.
Very special.
Meaning diversity hire. Again, she won this. She won this because she I don't know what she did, but whatever it was. Scroll down just a little bit here. Do we have her outfit where she's completely covered from head to toe? Because that makes sense why she would win. Okay. This has improved your physical appearance so much that you win. They just covered her up with this giant, like, Big Bird costume that's orange. Yes. Yes. Oh, so what do? They just put flowers on her and a big red thing. And we're like, yo, she wins. She wins the fashion.
Honestly, it is the most tasteful outfit she has worn thus far because I've got some other.
You know, I've just noticed that CBS, their emblem is an eye. Look behind her.
Yeah. Okay.
No wonder they're ready to worship.
Ooh. I didn't even think of that. Oh, you're so right. That was good. Here we go. I
mean, that one looks almost normal.
Yes. So
as an American, as an American, I'm used to seeing that's pretty much a normal Walmart trip. You know what I mean? Or a trip to the beach.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're honest,
it's nothing to be celebrating, jiggling around, saying that we should be this and call it healthy and say that why aren't men attracted to this and wag our fingers
it's
at
a
them
social construct. It's a social construct, Tina. That's why, right? You know who doesn't think it's a social construct? Your poor heart that's pumping for 4 human beings right now. He's like playing defense all by himself against a whole team of offense. He's like, the arm needs blood too. He's just pumping 120 beats per minute all of the time. Are you running upstairs? Oh no, she just got up for M&Ms. Everybody keep going. You know, it's just like there's little mice that are just like pumping the heart and they're just in there. Move quickly. Get to the top of the room. She's going to need more energy or you're all fired.
It's like raining down like issues. It's like, keep pushing. Do we have any more coal? We need more power. Oh God, she's doing the splits on stage. Run!
Splits on stage. Oh my God, it's so funny.
She's got to get back up.
No, and you know what's the worst? Like talking about the splits on stage. She's talented. She's a beautiful voice. She can play the flute. Not many artists nowadays who are very popular can actually play an instrument. It's usually just I
know. It'd be great if she could live to 70.
Right.
That'd be awesome. Look at her. A contribution to society. But instead she'll die early because her heart can't pump that many times.
Right. But look at her face
Facts.
too. Her face is so beautiful. She has a beautiful face. I mean, I think she's beautiful. She has a beautiful face. But
I can't even see past the chub, if I'm honest with you. Like
yeah,
I can't even tell that she has a bone structure that's enjoyable to look at.
Right. And that's because you're a man and that's how men think. But she can't figure out why men aren't attracted. That what you just said is exactly, but she doesn't get it. Because me as a woman, what do I say? Oh, look, she's talented. She has a beautiful face. So she thinks that a man should like her like that. And she can't understand why she can't get who she wants. Remember, did you hear that she had went into the DMs of Captain America?
And he was like, no, thanks.
He didn't answer. And she drunkenly put a screenshot of her writing it and him not answering, being left on red, if I'm not mistaken.
Captain America said, nah, I want this 5'3", 100-pound girl with blonde hair.
Yes. And she can't figure it out. And then all these women on TikTok and Instagram and saying, no, you're beautiful the size that you are and blah, blah, blah. Dude,
it's always girls giving each other the worst advice. Yes, queen. Cut it all off. Yes. Get a bowl cut. Oh my God. That's so edgy. Now you're the real you. It's like, if you girls are wondering, never take advice from your friends that are uglier than you about how you should look. Because I'm not saying all girls do this, but I do feel like girls will be like, yeah, sure. Go ahead and cut your hair. You know, like,
no, yeah.
Go ahead, girl.
Be wary of the pretty ones too, because they might just be like trying to edge you out even more. I wouldn't even say like just your ugly friends.
We got to start talking about relationship stuff on this at some point, man. Guys care about 3 things. Okay. Are you providing more peace to them than they would have without you? And benefits, like you know how to cook, you know how to clean, you can hold your own, right? Especially if they're going to provide for everything, because that's the relationships I'm talking about. If you're a man, make enough money to provide for everybody, period. So your wife can stay home and so the public system doesn't raise your kids. So that's the first thing we care about is are you providing an atmosphere of peace? Number 2, are you still in shape? Number 3, are you still having long hair and attempting to be like with style? That's pretty much it.
Yeah, just a little effort. A man doesn't want you to look like not you. They don't like these makeup tutorials with the and the looking like drag queens. Men don't want that, and that's what a lot of actually naturally pretty women are doing is mucking up their face with all this makeup. It's like, tone it down a little bit. Men like the makeup. Men like a nice look, but come on, they don't want that. Only women like that stuff. Only a woman is going to compliment on your 5 different rainbow eyeshadows. A man, that's not going to
keep it simple. Keep it simple. Right. Stay skinny and keep your hair long.
Well, and to me, not too skinny. I feel like men are very generous. I feel like
it's true. You don't even have to be
exactly
as long as you're proportionate.
Yeah.
And even if you're a little bit bigger, like guys don't really care that much, but you will get more men if you lose weight. If you're a little bigger, there's going to be a guy who's like into you for sure. I have plenty of friends that are like that. Not Lizzo big. That's like no, like I don't want to get smushed, but like,
more cushion for the pushing.
When you're skinny, if you're 100 pounds, Like if you're 120 pounds and that's skinny to you, if you're 140, we're not mad.
Yeah. No, I think guys are very, very generous. So like, I feel like the pressure that women put on themselves to be or
now I'm saying this as a
women.
semi-fat guy, but I'm going to the gym every day and I make a lot of money and I do.
On men, it's different.
And I'm funny-ish.
It's not, but it's different for you. Again, like it's definitely different for what a woman would be looking for in a man. But I hate that you feel like you have to defend yourself because there's going to be like women that say, well,
I'm just beating them to the punch because they're going to punch and I'm going to go, yeah, I don't care. I'm more in my realm of how do I create value? I'm a monster. I'm top 1% in every category in the country. But this old guy.
Well, the thing is,
I made it to the top. But it was hard for me. Girls, you wake up, stay skinny, be pretty. Boom, you're at the top.
Be fine. Yeah.
That's like that Andrew Tate thing when he was talking about the yacht, the crew. The yacht when he's like, "There's 5 men on a yacht."
Mm-mm.
You have binoculars. You're looking at you're looking at 5 guys on a yacht, and you're just looking at him, and you're like, "This guy had to learn how." This guy he's 70. This guy probably had to learn. He probably worked 90 hours a week for the first 20 years of his career, figured out some kind of thing and then implemented it on a bigger scale and then did this and then this and then this. And then these 3 guys had to do some crazy thing and they're where to be invited onto the yacht or whatever. And then they all paid for the yacht. And then you see 5 hot chicks. Mm-hmm. What do they have to do?
Be pretty.
Be pretty. And they got to the same yacht.
The same yacht.
It ain't fair, bro.
No,
it ain't fair. And we don't mind that it's not fair.
No, exactly. It's like, it's okay with double standards because like when the Titanic goes down, like we were talking about, I get to go on the boat. Ladies, you get to go on the boat too.
Right.
Before a man has to stay there. Same thing happening in recent history, Ukraine. They told the men, you staying and fighting. The women and children, no, you go ahead and go. You have that privilege, your feminism and everything. You weren't screaming about the equality to stay. Were you insisting that you stay or that the women stay? No, of course not.
Of course
not. So let's go ahead and embrace some of the double standards. No, we don't want to go back to the dark ages. Okay.
Right. I'm not saying stay in the kitchen, wench. Right. I'm not saying that.
Exactly.
Right.
And
I'm
let
just
your
saying
husband do whatever he wants with other women. We're not saying that.
Yeah.
Either.
I don't
wrong.
even agree. I don't think that's right. I hate when these guys, because these guys are 90% right, the Fresh and Fits and all these podcasts. And then that last 10% where they'll be like, monogamy's stupid. It's like, whoa. Hang on, bro. Bro. You're going to defile culture just by thinking that you can go bang every single freaking girl that walks around because you can.
No, I'm going to tell you why monogamy is not stupid. And what they're talking about is actually very dangerous, even for the perfect scenario that they're talking about. They're talking about a man with all this money, a wife that agrees to that sort of, I'm going to mess around with this and this and this and
I'm
that.
a McLaren. I come with certain kinds of issues. One of them is I cheat.
There
it's
you
like,
go.
Ugh.
There you go. And even if that's an agreement and that's your wife is happy, we're happy, everyone's happy, the kids are happy, and you're doing that, a woman in that outside thing, a circle that you have or rotation that you have outside of your wife is still going to come in and probably muck it up. Look at the freaking guy, Adam Levine. The Maroon 5 guy.
Yeah.
His wife said, sure, go ahead and go out and have fun with Instagram models and blah, blah. That an Instagram model tried to come out and expose him and say, yes, I've been sleeping with married Adam Levine. All his adoring fans who just loved him even more when he was just this married guy with this beautiful wife and his children. Oh my God, loved him even more. And that kind of got him in the heart when they said he's been cheating on his wife with this Instagram model. And then they find out that the wife said it was okay. But even then, people still didn't feel the same. Now, why is that important? Because people say, well, it still doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because it affects your pocketbook. Those women will not buy tickets and give you more money.
Right, even if it's 7%.
Exactly.
So you just lost 7% of sales.
Exactly. So
was it worth it? How much is 7% of sales in Maroon 5 for a whole tour?
And it'll go down because women will keep that one little thing that might have kept them, or the reason why they give you money or buy your wife's stuff or your stuff or even pay attention to you was because of that family thing and everything. And now you're going to lose that money and lose that respect from your fans, which eventually equates to money. So even then, the perfect scenario still didn't work out.
Everybody, make sure you go to RossduhBoss.com and go watch all of the things that we've got. Go subscribe everywhere. Get ready for a lot more fun stuff. God bless you guys. Have a good night. Thanks for tuning in.
Look out for balloons.
Look out for balloons.